Now we shall discuss about JDBC. What is JDBC? JDBC stands for Java Database Connectivity, which is a standard Java API for database independent connectivity between the Java programming language and a wide range of databases that support SQL, that is structured query language. It is an application programming interface that defines how a Java programmer can access the database in tabular format from Java code using a set of standard interfaces and classes written in the Java programming language. The JDBC library includes APIs, that is application program interfaces, for each of the tasks commonly associated with database usage. For example, we are making a connection to a database, creating SQL or MySQL statements, executing that SQL or MySQL queries in the database, viewing and modifying the resulting records. So a rich library is available in Java programming language, where we can, with the help of which we can connect our Java application with the backend database. So JDBC has been developed under the Java community process that allows multiple implementations to exist and be used by the same application. JDBC provides methods for querying and updating the data in relational database management system such as SQL, Oracle, etc. The Java application programming interface provides a mechanism for dynamically loading the correct Java packages and drives and registering them with the JDBC driver manager that is used as a connection factory for creating JDBC connections, which support creating and executing statements such as SQL insert, update and delete, etc. Driver manager is the backbone of the JDBC architecture. Generally, all the relational database management system supports SQL, and we all know that Java is platform independent. So JDBC makes it possible to write a single database application that can run on different platforms and interact with different database management systems such as MySQL, SQL Server, Oracle, DB2, Informix, etc. Java database connectivity is similar to Open Database Connectivity, ODBC. This ODBC technology is from Microsoft, which is used for accessing and managing databases. But the difference between JDBC and ODBC is that JDBC is designed specifically for Java programs, whereas ODBC is not dependent upon any language. In short, JDBC helps the programmers to write Java applications that manage these three programming activities. First is, it helps us to connect to a data source like a database, where actually the piece of information is residing. And it helps us in sending queries and updating statements to the database and retrieving and processing the results received from the database in terms of answering to your query. So next thing is creating JDBC applications. Now up to the point, it should be clear that what exactly we wish to do. We have a database which has been created in some database management system with the help of some database management system, for example MySQL. Okay, that database is already having database has already been created, and that database contains, suppose, number of tables. Now we wish to design a Java application, Java program, GUI application where we shall try to connect our application with that of the database which is there in the MySQL, we can say. So what are the different steps involved for that? Actually, there are 6 steps involved in building a JDBC application, which I am going to brief in this tutorial. First point we have to note is import the packages. This requires that you include the packages containing the JDBC classes needed for database programming. Most often, using import java.sql.star will suffice as follows. Means first of all we have to import the package, and the syntax for that would be import java.sql.star. Means we want to import the package so that with the help of that package we would be able to get connected with the database, and we could execute certain queries. We could fetch some data from the database, and we could update certain information in the given database. Okay. Next step is register the JDBC driver. Register the JDBC driver. This requires that you initialize a driver so you can open a communication channel with the database. Following is the code snippet to achieve this. We have to write class.forName, and here we have to give the reference com.mysql.jdbc.driver. This with the help of this line, what we are doing is we are registering the JDBC driver. Once the registration of the JDBC driver is done, then we have to open a connection. This requires using the driver manager.getConnection method to create a connection object. Connection object which represents a physical connection with the database as follows. So what we are doing here is we are declaring 2 variables, user and pass of data type string, and we are assigning some username and password. Here we have to keep it in mind that while when we install the MySQL server, at that time we must have provided some username and super username and password, root user and password, and these passwords and username would be used to get connection with the database. So, and the syntax for that would be con equals to, what we are doing is we are creating a connection object, and con equals to driver manager dot get connection, and here we have to specify the DB URL, means where exactly we have the database stored. If we are having, suppose we have local database stored in the local machine, so in this case it would be some thing like that, localhost or some IP address 127.0.0.1 or 192.168.0.1, etc. Means it will have some URL, it will have some address here. And in most of the cases, if we are having the local database, then it will be localhost. Then comma, then we have to supply the username and password. So con object will have a connection. Okay. And the next step is executing a query. So we know that what is a query. Actually, query is a SQL statement which is used to query the database. For example, we use the select statement to find out the desired results in the given database. So we have to execute the query. This requires using an object of type statement or prepared statement for building and submitting an SQL statement to the database as follows. So we have stmt equals to con dot, the connection which has been created, dot create statement. First of all, we have to write it, and we are declaring a simple string variable. Name of the variable we have assigned is SQL. It may be something else. Okay, in the SQL we are writing that select ID, comma first, comma last, comma age from employees. If we remember or recall that this is a SQL statement to select ID, first, last, age, all these are the fields or attributes or columns of the given table employees. It means we want to select these attributes of the relation employees, of the table employees. So we have stored this string in the SQL string variable. Now what we do is we want to execute the query. So result set rs equals to stmt.execute query SQL, and SQL is being passed to this execute query method as an argument. So it will execute whatever is there in SQL. So after executing it, then result set rs is a result set. Result set means actually after execution of the query, suppose the table employees contains 10 records or 10 rows basically. So all those rows with these attributes, they will be fetched and that will be assigned to the rs object. If there is an SQL update, insert or delete statement required, then following code snippet would be required. So we have to, instead of writing the SQL simply select statement, we may write this one delete from employees. Delete from employees means it will delete all the table, all the data from the given employees table. And if we have some conditions, we can put also the condition along with this delete statement. So delete from employees where condition this and that, all these conditions may be combined. So to execute the delete statement, so syntax would be like that: result set rs equal to stmt.execute update and SQL. Because some updations, because we are making some changes to the database, we wish to make some changes to the database. So instead of stmt.execute query, we have to use stmt.execute update, and after execution it would make some modification in the given table. Okay, now extract data from the result set. Once the query has been executed, then we have to extract the result from the given result set. This step is required in case you are fetching data from the database. You can use the appropriate result set .get int or float or double etc. method to retrieve the data from the result set as follows. The steps are: at the moment we are not sure how many records are there which are getting affected with the query that we have supplied. So we shall be using the looping method, and with the help of this looping method, what we are assigning condition is while rs.next. So with the help of the next method, it will check if there is one more record, other records are there or not, or the end of the records, end of the file is reached. So we shall put the condition while rs.next. First thing we have to do is rs.getInt. Here we are using getInt method, reason being that we are supposing that id is id column of the employee table is of data type integer. So that's why we have written here getInt. If it is of float, then we would have written rs.getFloat, etc. So we are getting integer value, and we are getting integer value from the given record, and we are assigning it to id. And in the second case, second variable, we are assigning age to the age variable. We are fetching the first name from the given row, and that will be assigned to the first variable, and so on. And we simply are printing the values of all these variables on the given console. Okay. So next thing is, after executing, as we have obtained the data from the given table, or we have modified some records, what we have to do is we have to clean up the environment. You should explicitly close all database resources versus relying on the JVM's garbage collection as follows. We have to write rs.close, then stmt.close, then con.close. Means we have to close the record set, then we have to close the statement, we have to close the connection, so that your systems are freed from, your memory is freed. So in a nutshell, in a summary, what we can say is, we have to, whenever we want to connect our Java GUI application with the database, first of all, we have to import the packages. We have to register the JDBC driver. We have to open a connection, and then we have to execute a query, and we have to extract data from the result set, and finally we have to clean up the environment. So these are the basics of connecting a Java application with the databases. And in the next video lesson, we shall try to write an application where we would perform all these steps practically. Means we will have a live demo how to connect our database, this Java application with the MySQL databases. Hope that this video lesson helps the students in understanding the steps involved in connecting the Java application with the databases.